Yo, what it do, 2K fans? It's your boy JuKIng the Boss, and there was a news article that came across my desk that I thought might be really interesting. And I know normally during the time a patch comes out, I usually drop a video discussing the patch, but this patch 6, really didn't have too much of anything that I felt was of notable to really cover in a whole video. Patch 6, I would have probably gone through that video in literally a couple of minutes. So let's see if I can actually do that before getting to the real big news, the real big article that I came across. So first of all, patch 6 dropped I think November 19th, and when it dropped, they mainly general changes were, you know, updated roster pictures for traded players, and fixed issues that caused a couple of achievements from activating. And one of the biggest things in the general section was they fixed the issue in Play Now Online where the wrong user could be credited with the win in very rare occasions. So it was something small, but it is something that maybe enough people came across where they was like, oh, we got to find out what's causing that. In gameplay, they fixed the shot clock resetting to 14 during online games when a foul is called and the shot clock is low. Now, originally, I thought that they fixed that already, but apparently they had only fixed it for offensive rebounds, and I guess when you was playing online, if someone fouled you when the shot clock was low, the shot clock didn't reset to 14, which was weird because it had always been reset to 14. But hey, who knew? They also talked about how it improved AI defensive switch logic for inbounds and pick and roll cases. Now, the AI when I play on Hall of Fame is still the same AI I've always had on my team, which they don't know how to guard on the pick and roll. They don't know how to guard on the inbound. It's always something weird that leaves a man wide open, and your responsibility to keep him off the boards. So when it comes down to that, the way they're going to be able to really truly fix that is first and foremost, playing on Hall of Fame, your sliders are set to 45 and the computer sliders are set to 55. So the AI on your team isn't considered AI, they're considered players. So because of that kind of logic, that's what I believe is causing the bigger problem from 2K and their AI logic happening on court. Because if you play on like Superstar or All-Star, you'll see that logic falls more in the line where it should fall, and fewer mistakes are made by a supposed superstar. So it'd be good to see that increase and that trade-off occur when you're playing in playing on Hall of Fame, because then it makes it worth it. But at the same time, you don't literally have to carry your team game in, game out. One other thing was they said the game would hang, and they addressed the issue where the game would hang for users doing in-game injury. Now, I've never come across that, so I didn't know it was something. I didn't know it was something big like that happening. Now, for the rest of the gameplay, it wasn't really nothing but fixing an issue that caused pass steal attempts to be ignored when pressing steal too many times. Yeah, that's just weird. But I guess that's supposed to counter what they did when it came down to penalizing the person for pressing steal too many times. So, yeah, that's going to happen. There's always going to be notable blowback. Now, for the my career issues, they fixed the issue where VC wasn't being earned in completed games of ante-up, and that was kind of just weird to me all around. And I haven't played ante-up, so I didn't know something like that existed, but that's something that would affect you, especially if you play ante-up and you out there betting your VC and you're not getting what you're supposed to get. Now, there were two main things in the my career and neighborhood section that I really felt were kind of important. One was they fixed the issue about the voice chat not working, so the game chat for your squad not working when you're on the guy next spot or on the squad spot. And I'm glad they finally fixed that. I was so mad that I had to go into a party chat just to talk to my boy while we waited for a game to end and our game to begin, and that was kind of weird. Glad to see that they finally fixed that, and squad traveling now working like it's supposed to. So those are two issues that I felt those are issues that it's a good thing they fixed. Now, I won't dive too much into my team because they only really covered one thing, and that was you could now mute players that you're playing against, and I thought that was always in the game, but that lets you know how much I play my team. Now for Pro-Am, I haven't really talked too much about Pro-Am, mainly because the only bug that truly says it's been fixed was players will sometimes show up in the Pro-Am shoot around before the full game. So the players that you're playing against will sometimes show up in there before the game, and didn't really know that existed, but they fixed that. And then everything else is matchmaking improvements. So hopefully one of those matchmaking improvements is that they made it a little better for those that are trying to do private matchmaking. I don't expect to see anything occur to help private matchmaking until the game officially gets past the combine phase. And now, speaking of combine, the next piece of news comes from the NBA 2K League. So a couple of recent interviews were done, and the one thing that the NBA is trying to push forward with is that they're trying to increase the diversity of the players playing in the NBA 2K League. One of the biggest questions was the women playing in the 2K League. Now, before you turn tail and, you know what I'm saying, and get upset about it, it's awesome that they want to bridge that gap, because females play basketball. Some great females play basketball. Now, here's the thing about it. They were asked, you know, how are they going to work on bridging that gap, and how are they going to work on, you know, including more and bringing in more women. So they found some of and reached out to some of these 2K female gamers that play the game. They play it heavy, they play it hard. Now, apparently last year only one female made the top 250, but when it came down to it, their biggest thing was that it wasn't that they were excluding women and just wanted to show face and have one woman in there. It was the way that they did the whole phase of how they break down the applicants, and, you know, looked at the stats and everything like that. They left gender out of it, and it just so happens that, you know, one woman made it beyond the marker. So you look at it and say it is kind of suspect. But when they were asked about what are they going to do moving forward for the 2K League when it comes down to bringing in more women, they reached out to these female gamers. They even had a tournament with them in it, where they reached out, and they brought like 4 of them out there to play in a tournament and they asked some questions. They asked them what would most likely, you know, drive more women to trying to participate in the 2K League and try to getting people involved, getting more women, getting more females involved. Their biggest thing is inclusion, and they want to do that. So I believe that when they asked these women, one of the biggest answers that they were given was the representation of female avatars. And so what that could mean moving forward, 2K20, we could see the first wave of NBA 2K bringing in female avatars. Now, we've seen Live do it. They continue to build upon it. So Live 18 came out and they brought in female avatars, and people felt that it was bare bones, it was bare minimum, and it wasn't really they brought in female avatars, they just brought in the WNBA. But, you know, I looked at that and I knew that kind of going in, because you still got to create animations that were done by females. So essentially, you can't have a female avatar doing the moves looking exactly like James Harden. Like, if you want to get a female to mimic James Harden's moves, then you would do that, and it would give it a more feminine touch to it, a more female look to it. So she wouldn't just look aggressive like a guy. And so, you know, people say, well, you know, women can look as aggressive as men, and I'm not saying that they can't. It just boils down to they wanted to make sure the animations for women in NBA Live 19 were done by women to make it a lot more identical to women, to make it more fluid, to make it more realistic when it comes down to it. So that was awesome, and the fact that they added women into the My Career aspect, playing overseas and everything, and playing in different tournaments. The next step going to be most likely for Live is bringing in women and allowing you to play WNBA. Now, I can do a video on how they can make that work in a way where it's inclusive to all, and you can play as both a male and a female. You can play with both of them, or you can play as just one of them, and I'll talk about that at another time. But one of the things is that that's the next step for 2K. You know, 2K them finally got the neighborhood to a point where it's at least doable. Get more creative with it as they move forward is always going to be a big thing. But the next step for the league, and seeing as the NBA and Take-Two are the parents of the league itself, that means that 2K is going to have to put the time in and put the effort in bringing females in the game. So I can honestly say that we could see in 2K20 the first official edition of female gamers, the first official edition of female ballers. When I say the first official edition of female gamers, but the first official edition of female ballers. Now, as far as the 2K League, I can't say for certain that we're going to see female gamers in the 2K League like they want, which is they want to increase that number and have women. They're expecting women to be drafted and everything like that. And less about that and more about it's going to be women coming in 2K20, and it's going to be a big milestone or a big marker or a big expansion, you know. So we're going to see what they do. We're going to hopes that, yes, the next step is females in NBA 2K, the WNBA maybe, and we're going to see exactly what we're going to do. So I'm going to keep following this news, and I'm going to keep you all up to date. I got a lot more content coming out right after this one. I'm not getting no sleep. I'm about to just get the editing, getting the cutting. I got a whole lot that I've been working on, and I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Peace.